Evan, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Oh.
That's the only reference there will be to the book, because I don't know anything about it.
I could be like, we're gonna answer that question in this episode. But we won't answer that question because I know nothing about the book either.
Yeah,
I know it's that Philip K. Dick wrote it.
But in a philosophical sense, guess what? I mean, we will answer it.
I'm excited.
No, we won't.
Yeah.
But we're gonna talk about Blade Runner 2049 regardless.
I'm excited. I like this movie quite a bit.
Evan, do you want to talk about anything else, or do you want to just get into it?
Was there anything you want to talk about? Anything you've read, watched recently?
Anything I've read or watched? I purchased HBO Max for a year.
But you did used to have it.
I had it through my aunt, but she couldn't get back into her account, and she doesn't use it enough she was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And I bought it myself. And
Big boy move.
Big boy moves.
Big boy move.
I pay rent, I pay car insurance, I pay AMC A-list, and I pay HBO Max.
Honestly though, that's a pretty good list of bills if you ask me.
Hell yeah. I'm liking how I'm looking.
Well, you don't have to pay it off like monthly, right? It's just you pay for the whole year.
I
right?
chose to pay for the year.
I prefer that, I think.
You get like 2 months for free if you do
that.
that. But I was just like, I don't want to worry about that coming out of my whichever card. I have like 3 cards that I use interchangeably, so I'm like, I don't want to deal with remembering which one is which and which I need to have money. Yeah, so just charge it for the year.
I definitely agree with you. I prefer that method.
And plus, yeah, like I said, you get a little discount, so it's cool. But the first thing I watched was Blade Runner.
Ooh.
So yeah, I was like, let me just buy this now. I actually have a use for it at this current moment. So if I never use it for a year, at least I used it for Blade Runner. No, but I'll definitely use it. I love fucking HBO Max.
Yeah, I'm late on it. I need to get HBO Max. They have a lot of good shit. I'm like, we talked about this, but I've been thinking about canceling Disney Plus to just get HBO Max instead.
Disney Plus kind of garbage.
It is.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
It is.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
I don't like at this point. I really don't know why I still have it. I never use it.
I mean, there's some stuff I like on there. I really like cartoons, which we talked about quite a bit in the last episode. And they have a good, chunk of cartoons on there. I actually been watching Kim Possible a bit. I probably will stop now because I have HBO Max again.
The only thing I revisited was like when we were watching Even Stevens. That was the only thing I had to...
Me and Evan, when we got Disney Plus, we watched the entirety of Even Stevens and the movie.
We didn't watch the entirety of it, but we watched a good chunk.
In one sitting.
In one, yeah. It was definitely.
There was maybe 10% of the show we hadn't watched. We watched almost the entire show. We did watch a lot of it, yeah, we watched a lot of it. Almost the entire show.
It was weird, though, because we didn't go in order. We, watched some episodes, went back, watched some, we just go, oh, this one sounds interesting right now. Let's watch that episode. Look at the description. Oh, this one sounds interesting.
We either picked ones that sound fun or, ones we remember.
Yeah.
And just watched them.
Or, from a meme or something.
Yeah. That was fun, though.
It was.
Even Steven's pretty good.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Disney Plus is alright, but I feel like HBO Max, it's much harder to run.
They have a good shit. Yeah. I definitely need to get.
Plus, I already know you want to watch rewatch Dune at some point. You'll probably buy the Blu-ray.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna get the Blu-ray for sure. But I do whenever that show starts, the Dune show that HBO Max is supposed to get inclusive of. I do want to watch that, so I will buy it at some point. But the thing is, I'm like, oh, how many of these subscription services do I actually want to pay for? If I'm like, one's gotta go.
Honestly,
and it might be Disney Plus.
I might just share my HBO Max with you if you want.
Real one.
I wouldn't mind.
You would do that.
I never share my accounts when it's my aunt's. My aunt Stacy.
No, I feel the same way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna share that shit if it's yeah. But since it's mine, I don't mind sharing the password, so you can watch it for free.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And I'm gonna somehow get your card info from HBO Max.
All right. Well, Evan just admitted to defrauding me on the internet live, so I guess RNS is over and I'm taking you to court.
That probably warrants enough for you to take me to court.
I mean, if you actually stole my card, yeah.
No, just saying all that. You're like, the dude's up to no good. It's like premeditated murder, premeditated theft.
Oh man.
Imagine if that was a thing. A lot of people would be fucked.
Well, you know what, Evan? Thank God we don't live in Minority Report.
We don't live in 1984.
Thank God we don't.
This is literally 1984. I don't know.
This is that Evan. If that happened, this would literally be 1984. If that happened,
it would.
And you know what else came? You know what came out in 1984? Blade Runner.
Did it really? Is that when it came out? I thought it was 82.
I hope so.
You might be right.
I thought it was 84.
Should we Google it real quick? Or does it matter?
Yeah, fuck it.
I think it's... You might be right.
I think it actually is 84. But
Let's see.
it might be 82. I might be thinking of Terminator.
82. Oh, correct.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah. The only reason I knew though is because I watched a video about it. I was watching a video about 2049. It was like called Blade Runner 2049, the greatest sequel of all time. I don't know if I agree with that, but I was just watching.
I actually got that in my recommended.
Okay, I watched.
I didn't watch it, but I got it in my recommended.
Yeah, and at the beginning, the dude is like, 1982, a literally fucking amazing year for blockbusters in cinema, and that's the only reason I knew.
Did he mention what else came out?
It was like what else came out? Like E.T. came out that year.
It's a good
what is that movie? Was it Beverly Hills Cop?
I think
one of those Eddie Murphy movies.
Ghostbusters and Beverly Hills Cop both came out in 1984, definitely.
Okay, it was another Eddie Murphy movie. So I forgot what else. But yeah, I remember, the only one I remember is he was like Blade Runner and E.T. You can tell some other stuff. But he was like, oh, such an amazing year for fucking cinema. I was like, okay, I believe you.
That, you know what would be a fun episode idea if we did like, we went up against each other, we do a little movie fights, TM.
Okay.
And we did a little argument and we try and pick like which is the better year for movies.
That would be interesting.
That'd be fun.
That would be interesting. I called dibs on 2019. 2019 was a good ass year.
I called dibs on 2002.
Oh, shit. 2002 went good, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't. Spider-Man.
That's
all I'm talking about.
That beats everything.
Shrek.
Yeah,
right?
Spider-Man and Shrek.
Wait, Shrek, yeah.
You win.
I win.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Dude,
Shrek,
never mind. That episode, we just did a microcosm of an episode. That's over. I win. Anyways, Evan, we just talked about nothing for like 5 minutes.
We kind of talked. Well, I mean, we talked about Blade Runner a little bit. But yes, we will talk about what this YouTuber, I'm sorry I don't know your name, claimed to be the greatest sequel of all time. It's definitely one of them, in my personal opinion, but I would have to think about it. I'd be like, is it really the greatest?
It's certainly one of the best in terms of like one of those revival sequels.
Yeah, for that I definitely
agree.
Yeah. It might be the best, maybe, as far as that goes.
But out of like everything, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that I don't know. Cause I'm like, Empire pretty good.
Spider-Man 2 is pretty good.
Spider-Man 2, yeah, literally Spider-Man 2. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is pretty good. So you want to get into it, or do you have any other little tidbits you want to mention?
Well, I just want to say I really like this movie quite a bit. I rewatched it. It's been a while since I've seen it. I haven't seen it since when I first saw Blade Runner 2049 when it first came out. Me and our good friend Andy, people in the RNS know me and Dylan's good friend Andy. We saw it in theater together. And I think it was like, I don't know if it was right around when I first got Movie Pass or right around the time I first got AMC A-List, but it was around sometime then. And it's when we were going to the movies a lot. So me and Andy went and saw Blade Runner 2049. And I was, that shit just blew my mind. I was like, oh, it's so fucking good.
What the fuck was I doing? Was I insane?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Or I might have been.
There's a brief period you weren't really seeing movies with us.
Maybe at the time I couldn't afford Movie Pass.
I can't remember. Because when did it come out?
Maybe you guys...
2018? Is it when it came out? 2018?
Maybe. I don't know.
Came out 2017. It was 2017. Shit, I can't believe it.
That must have been Movie Pass.
Yeah. So
there's no way that was AMC.
Yeah, probably Movie Pass. Yeah.
Because there was no like.
It was the end. It was like November or October, 2017. I remember it was towards the end of the year.
It was probably one of the first movies you guys saw with Movie Pass, and I.
Or me, because I got Movie Pass. No, you guys had Movie Pass before I did.
I had it before you.
Yeah. You and Andy both had it before me. I didn't get it for a while.
What month did this
I remember you guys kept making fun of me because you're like, why do you keep paying for movies? You get fucking Movie Pass.
Why do you pay movies, idiot?
And yeah, it took me a while to get it.
What month did Blade Runner come out?
It was November or October.
Because I remember the first movie I went to was It. With Movie Pass.
And that was during the summer. I remember that came out in like a July or something. 2049 came out in October.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we saw it and it was just fucking amazing. And I don't know why. Since then I never rewatched it, even though I really loved it. To me, it's like a perfect movie.
Wait, so we both rewatch. Every time we do like a singular movie, we rewatch it. Was that the second time you've seen it?
Yeah, this is the second time I've seen it. Yeah, like I said, really strange because I hype up this movie a lot, but I had only literally watched it once. And I got the Steelbook Blu-ray when it came out, and so I'm like, oh, finally I have an opportunity to just rewatch this. I've been wanting to for so bad. And then when I rewatched it today, well, it was like a combination of because I started watching it kind of late last night. I stopped a little past the halfway point.
We both watched half of it last night, fell asleep, and finished it today.
So, but anyways, when I rewatched it, I was like, yeah, this shit is still like so fucking good. And as we mentioned, Dune was my favorite movie of the year, but I think this is even better than Dune, honestly. I think like this movie's just like so fucking good. much love to Denny. He just these big epic sci-fis. He really knows what he's doing. So yeah, love to Denny. But I'm like, yeah, I love Dune so much, but this shit still has a beat for me.
I want to get into my issues with it, but I don't think I'm ready to do that yet. I just turned the movie on mute in front of us. I think that actually might be distracting.
No, good. It might bring up some stuff to talk about.
Some ambience as well.
But also, I want to say really quick, I actually do like this. I know I'm not alone in this, because a lot of people actually don't like the original Blade Runner, even though it's considered like a classic. A lot of people don't like it that much. I do like it. I'm not crazy about it, though. I like 2049 a lot more than the original.
I really should have watched the original, because like I told you the other day, I was like playing with Legos as a child when I saw it, so I wasn't even really watching it. It was just kind of on.
Well, yeah, I think we can talk about this a little bit. We both talked about how when you're younger, you have this weird perception of Blade Runner when you first hear about it. You think, like, and how it's hyped up, you think it, and with Harrison Ford and everything, you think it's one of those 80s movies that anybody can enjoy. Like, you think it's a Star Wars, Indiana Jones type thing. But it's really not.
Yeah.
It's really not. It's really like a science fiction art film that happens to have Harrison Ford starring in it.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's weird, though. But from the outside looking in, you don't really think of it like that. Especially with the hype it gets.
Yeah, like, if you were a kid, I could see, like, a kid being like... Like, if you ask a kid, like, what's cool 80s stuff? They'd be like, Terminator, RoboCop, Blade Runner.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not really... It's not like that at all.
Yeah, it's not. It's something I definitely... Because the first time I saw it, I was, like, 15. So I was, like... I'm a bit older than the age I'm talking about. I was thinking, like, a little kid might watch this and be like, what the fuck? But even then, I was like, that wasn't great.
Yeah.
I was like, that was hyped up. When I got a few years older, I did enjoy it more my second and third time seeing it. But I'm still not, like, super big on it. I really like... But 2049 is just, like, fucking amazing to me.
Well, there's something I wanted to mention in comparison, like comparing Blade Runner and the sequel. For the first one, like I said, I basically haven't seen it.
But I think it's okay. I think you can pretty much watch 2049 without having seen the original.
I think so too.
Yeah, it stands on its own.
I think you need a little context, though.
You do a little bit, especially. I mean, you can still. Yeah, it is
what the
Atari.
Fuck?
Yeah, like I said, Dylan has a movie on the background. There's a big Atari thing, but anyways.
Atari makes a big comeback in 40 years. Holy shit!
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's gonna be hype.
Yeah, you can still understand what's going on in the movie with the child thing, without too much knowledge about Deckard and Rachel. But then once you get to like the last hour, and then Deckard comes back, and then you have that scene with him and the fake Rachel in like Jared Leto's fucking room. That I can see being a little bit like, okay,
But they do set up Rachel and shit.
Yeah, you can still understand like, oh, a replicant had a child. That's all you really need to know.
Yeah.
And the fact that it mostly focuses on a new character and his story, you don't really have to know too much about what went on in the original. But it definitely does help, though.
That line is awesome.
Which line?
Her eyes are green.
Oh yeah. Harrison Ford.
I don't say. He doesn't say like that was a terrible impression.
Yeah.
But you get
what
I'm saying.
No, it sounded like Harrison Ford to me. He sounded like old Harrison Ford.
Nice, sweet, nailed it. But I love that line where he's like, her eyes were green.
Yeah,
that's fucking sick. And then they just shoot her in the brain.
It's always interesting to me, just because like my perception of Harrison Ford is that he's like, I would think of him as like, oh, he's reluctant to return to these roles, but no, he seems very happy to do it. He just hates Han Solo. But the fact that he hates Han, the fact that he hates Han Solo in Star Wars makes me think like, oh, he probably does, like he's like just coming back for the check. But he seems like he genuinely did enjoy doing Blade Runner again, and also Indiana Jones.
He likes Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
It's just Star Wars. He just doesn't like Star Wars.
I think,
which is interesting to me.
I think it makes sense because like, I feel like Indiana Jones is the kind of like movie serial shit. He's kind of like, oh, I'll do this for the kids. Like they'll like this. Is fun. I'll do this for my kids. And then, like, Blade Runner is like, oh, that was a good movie. Like, I want to do that again.
Yeah.
But for, like...
With Star Wars, he was literally doing it as a favor.
Yeah. Star Wars, he was like...
and then he got sucked into the fucking franchise.
George Lucas was basically like, you're doing really good with the like, line readings. Like, for the rehearsals or whatever. Or for the, what's it called? The, auditions.
Yeah.
So he's like, just be the role.
Yeah, because I know him and George Lucas are. That's why I couldn't remember who he was doing the favor for. He was in
American Graffiti.
Yeah, American Graffiti. I couldn't remember if it was a favor for George Lucas or one of the producers or something.
It was George Lucas.
Okay,
yeah.
He was like, yeah, just be in this movie, and I don't think he expected it to. Well, a lot of people didn't expect Star Wars to turn out to what it was. A lot of people thought like, oh, this is gonna be an extremely campy, shitty science fiction movie.
Yeah, no one.
And then it ended up being like what it was. As they say, it got saved in editing. That's the story about the original Star Wars.
I think the difference is, his wife.
Yeah.
That's a cool story. But I think the difference is, for, like, Harrison Ford is, like, Star Wars was the blockbuster that came up, like, right after him.
Yeah.
So, like, if he wasn't Han Solo, he probably would not have seen and enjoyed Star Wars.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Indiana Jones or Blade Runner, maybe he would have watched those, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It's just... I think it's not something that, like, attracts him as a viewer.
Yeah.
He just kind of got sucked into it, and that's why he doesn't like it.
Yeah. And then plus there's also, like, the 30... Well, basically since Star Wars came out to now, so that's fucking 50 years?
Yeah.
Is that... No. Not 50, it's like 40. But, it's been like 40 years of nerds asking...
Almost 50, might as well.
Close.
Yeah.
Close to 50.
Jesus.
But it's just been like 40 years of nerds asking him shit he doesn't care about.
Yeah.
So I understand.
That's the thing. He's not invested in the story whatsoever.
I kind of like his shtick. It's kind of gotten old a little bit about like he hates Star Wars. I mean, it's not really a shtick, but it kind of is because he plays it up.
Yeah.
Like there's that thing where he's in the hot dog costume and he smashes a Lego Millennium Falcon. I thought that
Have I seen that? When did that come out?
Was
that around the time Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was really funny to me.
He's kind of a Chad, though, for being like, oh, yeah, I'm on the press tour for The Force Awakens while openly promoting that I hate Star Wars. So that's pretty cool. I kind of like that.
I mean, there must have been some conversation, I think, where he was like, you can't make me.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be in your damn movie, but you have to kill me and I have to be able to wear a hot dog costume.
That was definitely a Harrison Ford thing. It's like, yeah, I'll come back, but I had to die also. I think it worked, though. For the time. Okay, this isn't the Star Wars episode.
Jesus Christ, that's a whole nother Force Awakens.
That's a whole nother thing.
I really did want to start talking about Force Awakens.
Maybe one day, like, because we mentioned
next week?
Yeah, maybe.
You want to do Force Awakens next week?
Well, I feel like we should just do the whole sequel trilogy at once.
Why?
At least The Last Jedi.
We
can skip Rise of Skywalker, but if we talk about The Force Awakens, I feel like I also have to talk about The Last Jedi.
We will get off of this in a second, I swear to God. But I feel like Force Awakens, there's a lot to be said about that 2015, like 2013 Disney purchase period.
Definitely.
Whereas like Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker is kind of like, you can kind of just talk about them as movies.
Yeah, I agree. I don't ever want to talk about Rise of Skywalker, though, but I would be interested in doing an episode about The Last Jedi. Because I feel like me and you kind of have an interesting perspective about that movie. We're kind of in the middle, where like people are either like, "This is a fucking masterpiece, you idiots don't understand it," or the people who just completely hate every single thing about it. Me and you are kind of in the middle, where like we actually do really enjoy certain parts that people hate, and then the other parts are just complete dog shit.
Maybe we should do a little double feature, and we'll do 2 episodes in a row on Force Awakens.
That would be cool.
I want to do last thing about Star Wars, and this is about the podcast in general as well. I really want to do like rewrite pitch episodes.
Well, we talked about that.
I'd love to do that for episode 9.
I know we talked about MCU. So me and Dylan, a while ago, we had a big idea about the MCU where we rewrite all of Phase 3 starting from Civil War.
Yeah. And
it would change right at the moment. We would let Rhodey die, and that's where, from there, we would rewrite everything.
And then move on up from
that. So which is pretty interesting, I think.
Personally, I would like to do a Spider-Man 4 Sam Raimi pitch. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just talking. I'm not saying we're going to do all these, but I'd like to do Spider-Man 4. I'd like to do rewrite 9, taking into account the sequel trilogy, like including 7 and 8.
Yeah.
And Endgame.
1 for 9 would definitely be interesting, because I would make it more of a direct sequel to The Last Jedi.
I have some cool ideas.
More like where Colin Trevorrow was going. But I would change some of the stuff his originally.
Evan, I have some cool ideas.
I believe you.
Subscribe.
Save it for the app.
Hey, listen. Subscribe for episode 9 rewrite, because that's gonna be a cool fucking episode. I genuinely think I have a fucking badass idea.
Okay, save it for the pod. Don't spoil.
Can I mention one different thing, and then we'll move back onto our subject?
Okay, yeah.
On Reddit recently, someone said, if Batman were to join the freaking Justice League... No, not the Justice League.
Batman joined the Justice League.
What if Batman joined the goddamn Justice League? No, he said, what if Batman joined the Avengers?
That would suck.
And he was like, no, just listen.
I just can't imagine him with them.
It was just a prompt.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, I can't imagine it.
And he said, what would the contingencies be? Like, he has the contingencies for the Justice League members. And I wrote my little thing where it's like, I told you about this because I wanted to make a Lego video about it, where he does it, where he reverses the polarity of the arc reactor to push the shrapnel back into Iron Man's heart.
Jesus Christ.
And he's like,
profane and brutal.
That'd be fucking really cool. And he's like, you'll die. Just stop. Turn your little costume off.
I feel like he wouldn't even have to go that far. I feel like Batman could probably take Iron Man. Maybe. I don't know.
Huh.
It's debatable.
It is debatable. It is very debatable. But guess what? This isn't the Batman Iron Man episode. This is the fucking Blade Runner 2049 episode. So let's get right back on into it.
I'm ready, though. I'm ready.
What do you want to freaking talk about? Where do we leave off?
So the basic plot synopsis of this film.
Evan, can I do it?
Yeah, of course. I usually do it, so Dylan, you take it.
I'm gonna run through it real quick. Blade Runner. Is he a robot? Is he a man? I don't know. He's in the rain. He's crying.
Oh, shit.
Wow. Crazy shit. Next movie. His son?
Ooh, question mark?
Question mark? Done.
Damn. That's actually pretty good. The thing is, I like how you set it up like that, because the thing I really like about 2049 is that it feels like, this sounds so stupid and pretentious, but it feels like a true sequel in that it doesn't, like, it stands on its own, but it's also not just completely being its own thing. It's not trying to have, like, its own theme. The thing it does is expand on the theme of the original had. If that makes sense.
One thing I like about it...
Which I really liked. I was like, it takes, like, this philosophical question from the original and just expands on it. Which is great to me. One
thing I really like about it is, because like I said, I basically haven't seen Blade Runner. I was going to mention this earlier, but we got sidetracked on Star Wars and a ton of other things.
But you kind of had it in the synopsis. Like, a big thing in Blade Runner is like, well, what makes a human a human?
Yeah.
So, like, you know what I mean? That's the thing. So these replicants, they don't treat them like humans. They treat them like slaves.
Yo, they are slaves, yeah.
Yeah, but like, well, then that kind of leads you to the question, well, what makes a human? Just flesh?
Yeah, where do you draw the line?
Yeah, exactly.
I do like that, but I feel like when I was a kid, right, after I had, like, quote unquote seen Blade Runner, and when I watched, you know, like, it was probably like James Rolfe or something. I watched I'm sure a couple people talk about Blade Runner online, and from what I understood, the question is Harrison Ford's character Deckard, is he a human or is he a replicant? Is that the question in Blade Runner, the first Blade Runner?
Well, I would say that's not, like, the big question throughout the film. It's something you think about, but, like, I wouldn't say that's, like, the general theme. That's just, like, kind of the cliffhanger they leave you with at the end. Was Deckard.
But it is a question.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think this movie, it's very much like, I think since they get rid of that element, well, to a degree, because Deckard's still here, but I think since they get rid of that element, like, they're able to explore the whole... Is a replicant a human being? Like, not is this character human or not, literally, but is a it's like, it gets to the heart of it,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's kind of what they do. Do you know Roy Batty? No. The villain from the original. The one who has the famous quote at the end of the movie? Yeah, in the rain.
Yeah, the one who cried.
Yeah. His last act, before he, like, passes away, because the model of replicant he is, they die after 4 years, so he's reaching the end of his life. The final thing he does is save Deckard from falling, and the only reason he does it is just to prove, like, yeah, even though I'm a robot, I'm capable of being able to do this human thing.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, showing you compassion and saving your life.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, in a way, Roy kind of wins the battle of ideas.
Yeah.
The philosophical, he doesn't win the actual battle, but he wins the philosophical battle. He's like, well, I'm more of a human than you are, Deckard. Because all you do is just hunt down these robots. I've actually been capable of showing emotion. And doesn't that kind of make me human? Yeah. You know what I mean? So, there's that.
Okay. No, because I the way I posed the question to you sounded like I was going somewhere with it, which I kind of was, but I also didn't know.
Yeah.
So,
well, I say it's hard for some of the content because you haven't seen the original since you were a small child. So, yeah. So that's also Roy Batty. I can't remember the actor's name right now. I apologize. He's a great actor. He passed away recently. Rest in peace, that man.
I keep picturing the live action Bowser.
No, that's not. That's Dennis Hopper. That's Dennis Hopper.
You had an insane fucking wacky look in your eye when you like for a split second you were like, was that him? But you your face for a second switched to the Joker's face for like a split second.
That was Dennis Hopper. No, Roy Batty is Rutger Hauer. Yeah,
oh,
yeah, Rutger Hauer, and he passed away recently.
God rest his soul.
Seriously. Yeah. And the thing about 2049, I feel like. Because Roy was always the more interesting character to me than Deckard. I think that was kind of the point. It's like, yeah, you make the supposed human character very boring, then you make the replicant interesting, just to keep, talking about that idea of
makes sense.
What is human. Yeah.
And plus that like makes sense in this movie too, because humans, I guess part of what I take away from it is like humans are complacent. Like mostly when I say this, I'm referring to like the kind of rallying scene where the one-eyed woman, I don't know her name.
Oh, the replicants when they all come at the end.
Yeah, but like there's that one lady that like helped deliver the daughter.
Yeah, there's like the replicant like uprising, like the rebels.
Yeah, like that's being the rebel is more human than like being complacent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like that makes sense to me too.
Yeah, I'm definitely. So yeah, I want to get into that a little bit. So. In 2049, the main character, instead of Deckard, even though he's in it, like we talked about, the main character is Ryan Gosling's character, Detective K, yeah. Or Officer K, whatever. I think it's Detective, right?
I guess.
Well, Officer K. Cool fun fact, I have a figure of him on my wall.
Will you make him and Timmy fight?
No, I'm going to say, and he's literally right under my Paul Atreides, Timothée Chalamet figure. So there you go.
Yeah, you should make a fight.
Yeah, one day I'll finally open him out of the box and let them fight one day.
That's awesome.
Anyways, yeah, he's not similar to Roy, but it's like, I think in this movie it's like, oh, what if a character like Roy was the main character? And that already made it a much better movie for me than the original Blade Runner, because I feel like we have a much more interesting protagonist.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And he's very relatable. Which, again, I think is to go with that whole idea of, well, we're relating to him, so is he human? You know what I mean? I think that's kind of the point. He's much more relatable than any of the human characters in the movie.
Dude, freaking...
most of the humans in this movie are complete assholes.
He's a pervert. He's a pervert. I'm sorry, I'm watching the movie.
Do you want to get into that now? Or we should say that we both talked about it.
I just wanted to mention it because I just saw this beautiful Asian girl, like, hologram, just, like, shaking her little butt in the dining hall. Yeah, that was awesome. Oh yeah, and I was watching this in the middle of the night last night with the light. It's the scene where there's like an orgy going on in like an Apple store.
Oh yeah. I think it's like because they have like prostitution or whatever with replicants. Openly, yeah, with replicants.
And I just had that full volume. Like,
that must have been awesome.
Don't come in, Terry. Thanks.
That must have been awesome.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, it was just like so you have like the interesting replicant being the lead character in this one instead of Deckard.
Yeah, I feel like that's like I said,
that already makes it more appealing, I think.
Yeah.
Even though that's kind of the point of the original, it just as a viewer, you're like, yeah, I'm more drawn to the character, and that already makes it better for me.
Yeah, you want your protagonist to be the dynamic one.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
And for that reason, I like it a lot.
But yeah, I think
yeah,
I related a lot to our beautiful, wonderful Kay.
Mm-hmm. I like when they give him the name Joe.
So I don't. One thing that made me sad, and I wanted to mention this to you, Evan, as my co-host and my confidant and my friend. Why? So like, jerk off instructions dies. So
there is a character named Joy, Ana de Armas character, spelled but it's interestingly spelled all capital Joy. Very interesting.
It's weird.
It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, I thought when I first saw the movie, I was like, yeah, that's kind of weird.
No, because
it's like there's no way that nobody, when they made this movie, didn't think about that. Well, there's no way.
Well, this movie was probably being made in what, like 2015 and 16?
Yeah, that was already a thing by then.
It was, but it wasn't super popular until later. Till like around this movie came out to after, so I could see it not being caught.
Maybe.
But yeah, jerk off instructions are sweet. But the character jerk off instructions herself, she's basically like.
Should we get that far into the movie?
Well, because I want to mention something about the Joe thing.
Okay.
So.
I think it was a play on her name though. The name she gives him. Maybe I'm wrong.
Joe? No,
I thought
listen,
it was.
Listen, so,
yeah.
So. the Joy character is basically a hologram AI that's like a companion that you can buy. Yeah. That anyone can buy, and it looks like the same woman every time, and it's the same voice.
And he basically just makes her like his wife.
And he's basically his wife, and so she effectively dies.
Yeah.
Someone stomps on the little USB drive.
Yes.
And she's dead. And then he goes out. He's sad. He's in the rain. He looks cool, and he's
There's a great scene, and a lot of memes too.
And the bridge of his nose is fucked. He looks really cool. Right? He
does, yeah. Like I said, this scene's a lot of memes when he's staring out there.
And there's a big hologram advertisement of the Joy AI. And she kind of like starts catcalling him.
Yeah.
Which is problematic to begin with, Denny. But so she calls out to him and she's like, oh, this or that. She's trying to like, sell the thing. Like sell the AI basically. It's like it's like in Back to the Future, the big hologram billboard, but it's like sentient.
Yeah.
And she calls him Joe.
Yeah, she's like, but it's like average Joe. She says it in like that sense. Not like him specifically. She said it like, oh, you're a Joe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She's like, you look fucked up for a Joe or something. It was some shit like that.
Yeah, I forgot what it is. But it's the way I took it was like average Joe. Like, it wasn't just a dude.
But for me, it kind of like, it made me think like, was she real?
That's a whole nother question.
I don't think so.
Which I also think is interesting.
Even though she was super like advanced for like an AI or whatever, but I don't think she was real.
That's another very interesting question that this really movie poses. Because now it goes into the whole, well, okay, if you're going to consider replicating a human, well, what about these fucking AIs?
Yeah.
It poses a whole new question with her character, which is very interesting. But I think the ultimate answer, since you're going on that, is that I think the answer the movie gives us is no.
Yeah, which is really fucking sad because what's her name? Ana de Armas.
Yeah.
It's really fucking sad because her performance is so...
Yeah, it's believable.
It's so good. And the way... And especially what's really sad about it... Which is like,
I love you, before she gets stomped out.
Yeah, which is fucking disturbing.
Yeah.
It's like... It's really weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
And I like the moment, too. It's kind of cool when they're like, oh, humans are made up of 4 digits... And like AIs are made of 2. I was like, oh crap.
Ones, yeah.
Oh crap, that's insane. You're literally blowing my fucking mind.
Damn, that's crazy.
Damn, that's crazy. He kind of looks like Ryan Reynolds right there.
Jesus Christ. Don't do Ryan Gosling as that. Okay, so just for your RNS viewers, I do have a deep love for Ryan Gosling, and I have a deep hatred for Ryan Reynolds. So the fact that Dylan would compare the two,
there are like 2 Ryans inside you, forever battling.
Yeah, there are.
Badass.
But yeah, it's like, after she dies, you see he kind of has a moment with the prostitute replicant.
The sex worker?
The sex worker. We're about to... David Desmoshian's fucking death is about to happen on the screen. Anyways, he had a pretty brutal death. But, yeah, he kind of has a moment with her after Joy's death. Yeah, he has a moment.
What happens?
When he's like... After they speak to him at the rebel thing or whatever with the replicants, when they're just like touching each other's faces.
Does that happen?
Yeah, remember? And like speaking to each other. It's like a very personal moment. It's very quick, but
it's a long movie.
It is a long movie. For me, it goes by pretty quick, but
it actually does go by pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty engaging.
They have a moment with each other, and I don't know.
Did they say anything?
She did pick up. Yeah, they talk a little bit. I can't remember exactly what this. I don't remember if it's right before he speaks to the lady with one eye or right after. It's somewhere there. But they have that moment, and then you already know that he was attracted to her, because even Joy picked up on that.
Yeah.
Because they have the sex scene, basically, where Joy, like, syncs with her body, so he can, like, find a way, almost basically have sex with the hologram.
I got sidetracked. I really wanted to mention this. What makes it really sad... wait, did I finish this off? I don't know. Sorry, I'm going to repeat it if I did. What makes it really fucking sad is, like... Her performance is great, obviously, and it seems human, but, like, that kind of makes it creepy, because she's probably not real, certainly less real than the replicants, but also just, like, because, like you said, her reaction is like, oh, she's trying to say I love you when she dies.
Yeah.
But, like, what's really disturbing to me is, like, Ryan Gosling's character, his reaction to it.
Well, he was fucked up.
I know. But I'm saying, like...
Well, he's fucked up for... 3D GF.
It's just like this. It's like this slavery shit.
It is kind of disturbing.
It's because like this is all he has in the world, and you kind of buy it as being happy. Yeah. But it's like,
well, he's not.
There's no way.
Yeah, I think why I say ultimately, I think the answer is no. That these holograms aren't human versus a replicant. I think the answer on that no is that I think the point is that obviously he was forced to, so he didn't really have a choice in this say, but his whole life he's been kind of pushing away the other replicants where he should have been embracing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of embracing a real connection with somebody versus just being
he was pushing
having
away,
a 3D GF.
He was pushing away everything, right?
Maybe a little bit of commentary on just some loner people in general. Maybe.
Yeah, some type
having waifus and whatnot.
Some type of insular type of individuals.
Those kind of people, you may say.
Yeah.
I mean, the character is popular in that community, so there you go. He's always in those Sigma memes, so
that was slick. That was slick.
No, but seriously, I think that is kind of a commentary on that.
So actually,
don't spend your time with your waifu 3D GF. Like, go make a real fucking connection.
Touch some grass.
Yeah. But like I said, he kind of doesn't have a choice, really.
No.
Yeah, you can't have any connection.
No. And it just makes sense that if you're a product and if you're, a servant, like, I don't know, man. It's
weird. So they very clearly can feel, and that, like you said, that's where you're thinking, well, are they human? But they don't have. They're not naturally made in the way a human is, which is what we're about to get into. Well, that's an even bigger question.
May I ask you something, Evan?
Yes, of course.
In the original Blade Runner, they don't show how they're made, right?
They're made like fucking robots, I think.
Because in this movie...
They show you, like, popping out of, like...
In this movie, Jared Leto, like, dumps them out of a big, like, turkey bag.
Yeah. I don't think it's the same, though, because I think his model... He's made, like, the perfect model or whatever.
The most human model.
Yeah. And they, like, they're not, like, the Nexus 6 or whatever from the original that only lives, 4 years. Because like, these actually live, like, for a decent amount of time.
Even basically human lifespan.
Yeah.
I get the impression in this movie that the replicants are basically just human clones.
That's basically a good way to put it. I was gonna say their bodies aren't human, but their bodies are human.
Yeah.
The thing is, they're man-made. That's the thing that makes them not human. But then, here's the trouble in this film. Well, a replicant was able to have a baby.
Yeah.
And now, Cade's job is basically to get rid of the baby, because they're like, well, if the world finds out that replicants are having babies, what does that mean for the future of humans?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Basically, if replicants can have babies, does that mean this is basically the end of the human race? I think that's an interesting way to look at it. Are they the next step in evolution? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the fear.
Joe Rogan would say.
I think that's the big fear here. It's like, and also, well, if they're having babies, can we treat them like slaves still?
That's I think that's the big, like, in terms of, like, in universe, what they're trying to avoid, like, the ramifications. I think that's the key thing.
Yeah.
Is it like, we're gonna lose all our slaves?
Yeah, because it's like, not, they're capable of having babies with each other. What really is the difference between them and humans at this point? Yeah. Especially for one that was born that way. There isn't really much of a difference at this point. So it's like, what does it mean for the world? So it's kind of fucked. They want Kay to get rid of the baby.
And he tracked down the baby.
But a big plot twist. That doesn't end up being a plot twist. Which is very interesting. I like that they give it to you early. And they try and make you think like they feel... They make you think Kay may actually be the child.
Well,
because of his memories.
They let you think that for a while.
Yeah. He has the memories.
You don't really find out he's not the child until
the very end of the movie, basically.
Is it after he kills the horrible bitch in the ocean?
No, it's before that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
after he talks to the lady with one eye.
It's like the end of the second act.
Because he finds out the child's a girl.
Yeah.
And when he finds out, you see like pretty depressed. He looks sad, and she's like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "We all wish we were that child. It's not just."
Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
It is.
It's like, we all wish we were that child. That's fucking cool.
And it's...
If you just replace the replicants with black people, it kind of just becomes clear.
No, I mean there's a big. That is definitely a thing. Yeah.
But it's like, of course there is like the science fiction element. It's not the same.
But I think it's like, yeah, the science. I think what the point of Blade Runner is, they're just trying to pose that philosophical question in general, just about technology. I don't think it's a race thing. I think it's about like.
I don't think it's about race.
If humans, yeah, but I see what you're saying. Where there, you can very clearly make that analog.
I don't think it's.
I don't think it is though either.
I don't think it's really about technology either.
I feel like it is. I feel like it's if humans were like to keep going down the path we're going with technology. Well, eventually, where do you draw the line between technology and humanity? And Blade Runner get to the point where you're literally on the line. You're like, what makes this you a human versus this thing?
Yeah.
I think that's the point that Blade Runner is trying to get at.
I think it's just using. Well, I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah.
But I guess what I take from it more, or like what I don't know, because I'm not saying you're wrong, definitely, because I think you're right. That's definitely like obviously an element of it. But I guess what I take from it is more of
just what makes a person in general.
The robot,
that's also part of it.
The robot shit is just like kind of an not an anchor, but like not a comparison. Something, you get what I'm trying to say. It's like the robot thing is just giving you a different way to look at it. Like you can't
don't treat people who are different like shit. That's definitely a part of it. Yeah.
You have to question something, you have to contrast and compare it to something.
Yeah.
So how do you question humanity? You add you compare it to something else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's probably like, you could do another version of Blade Runner where they're aliens or
yeah, that's kind of District 9. Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing in District 9.
I think there's definitely like the technology thing is an element of it. And it's also
that might be more of a thing in the novel.
What?
The technology thing. I think that's a big, like, kind of what they're going for. I could be wrong though. Just like
I guess
the brief knowledge I know of.
A lot of like I think that's like hard sci-fi.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, like air quotes for you. I think that's like hard sci-fi, which that's definitely more like, what are be wary of technology.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. Because Philip K. Dick is one of those Orson Welles ass writers. You know what I mean? You know what I mean by that?
Yes, I do. No, that's what I'm saying. Like hard sci-fi shit or whatever. Which I'm not super.
Did I say Orson Welles? Not fucking Orson Welles. Who's the writer of 1984?
You mean
George Orwell.
George Orwell.
Yeah, I said Orson Welles. Orson Welles is the Citizen Kane director.
Their names are like little anagrams of each other.
Yeah. I meant George Orwell, but you know what I mean by that. Yeah,
I do. I guess it's just, it also has to do with the fact of like what stories I'm interested in. So it's I think of it more as like the robots are just there as like an allegory.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're completely irrelevant, but I don't know. I like the idea of like using the robots as like a lens to view humanity in like a slightly different way.
Yeah, me too.
I don't like hard sci-fi at all. I really don't.
What do you mean by that though?
Like hard sci-fi as in like I might be using the word wrong. I might be using that phrase wrong. But what I mean is like sci-fi that they're more interested in questioning science.
Oh.
But most mainstream sci-fi is more interested in questioning humanity.
Yeah.
I think you would call that
I like a bit of
soft
both.
sci-fi.
I like a bit of both.
I guess I'm not super into tech stuff. And plus it's like, well, if it think like a human, it's probably a human.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not too worried about that. I'm more interested in like how do you get there?
Yeah.
Like how do you like I'm more interested in trying to figure out like what makes a human being rather than trying to figure out what makes a robot not a human being, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess.
I agree with you. And I think that's more what Blade Runner is going for.
Yeah.
Than that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, and like we said, just the fact that Kay is kind of like the most relatable character in the movie. Especially because, like we said, there are not too many human characters in the movie, but for the most part, they're all kind of assholes.
That's why I kind of say, like, I don't think this movie is really... There's never really a question as to, like, is the technology a human? Like, that's kind of over.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like... It's the aftermath, kind of. Or, like, the beginning of the aftermath. or.
Yeah, I can kind of see what you mean, and I feel like that's like what I was saying. I feel like this is a really good sequel in that it kind of expands on that question from the original.
Yeah.
It just makes it broader. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot more intriguing.
Yeah, I would say so.
And a lot more beautiful thanks to Ana de Armas.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, so now I feel like we've talked about all the fucking deep BS, deep philosophical BS. That's all in our heads that doesn't actually exist.
We need to talk about more of it.
Oh, because hey, we can start talking about like some of the aesthetics of the movie or some shit that you enjoy. If
I
you'd
feel
like.
like there's something we're missing. What are we missing? The secret sauce.
The secret sauce.
The secret sauce, aka Jared Leto.
Oh.
Let's talk about Jared Leto.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can talk about like some other stuff in the movie.
Well, I wanted to talk about.
Cause like I feel like we haven't talked about like actual specifics in the movie. We talk about like certain scenes, but just how it relates to like the broader idea of the movie's like trying to get at.
I guess I did. I wanted to mention Jared Leto, and we just saw him shoot a few people. I wanted to mention the action as well.
Well, Jared Leto's character is interesting, kind of. I guess going off the human and robot thing.
It's mostly just the actor carries the whole thing.
Well, he's technically a human, but he feels way more...
I was joking. I'm sorry. Continue.
He's technically a human character, Jared Leto character, but he feels way more robotic.
But is he the monster?
Yeah, he feels way more robotic than any of the fucking replicants.
I 1,000,000% agree with that. That makes a lot of sense. Because when Harrison Ford is like, he's like, you don't have any kids, do you?
Yeah,
and he's like, the way he says, like, I have millions of it. It's like, dude, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he's insane. And I think he's supposed to be, like, the point is, like, he's
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. No, he's way older than he actually looks.
But he's been keeping,
yeah, because at the beginning,
right?
yeah, because I think at the beginning they say, like, whenever the blackout happened.
Oh, he was, like, alive before it?
No, during it. And he was already, like, he helped them get out of the blackout, so he's already a grown man.
Yeah.
And he still looks like relatively young in this.
Right.
Like I think the point is like he's keeping himself looking young with all modifications
the, like, weird,
and shit.
biotechnology.
Yeah. I guess he is blind, right? Because there's a scene with him and Harrison Ford saying together, he's not really looking at him.
He never looks him in the eye.
Yeah, he's like looking the other way.
I honestly...
But I couldn't tell.
I thought of that as like he has implants, but I could be wrong.
I really wasn't sure.
I could be wrong though.
I kind of like that they don't really tell you though, because it seemed like he.
There's no need to tell you.
Yeah, it seemed like he could see the other replicant though, the one he murders. When he's like, he kind of like, fuck these new models. I guess that was the point. He was like, fuck these new models. You can't have babies.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the perfect one. That was interesting. I actually like that scene a lot, even though I did already say before Jared Leto's the worst part of the movie. Just because I hate Jared Leto, but that scene is actually really good. I think.
Oh, me too.
When they're in him and Love, who's basically the main villain in this movie, even though Jared Leto's like the larger threat, I guess. She's doing all the dirty work.
She's the Darth Vader.
Yeah, she's doing all the dirty
and
work.
Jared Leto.
She's pretty much the villain.
Emperor.
And we can get into her in a second.
I don't like her.
Oh, you didn't like her character?
I don't like her.
I thought we can get into her in a second. That scene though with him and her watching like the replicant be born was a really good scene. Where he's just like he basically like fuck this shit. I want the perfect replicant. He just murders that one.
Yeah, he's evil.
Yeah, he is. He is very evil.
So guess what? I guess that's kind of interesting. Like, that kind of goes to your point of like the roles were reversed, as like the protagonist in this movie is a replicant and the villain in this movie is a human.
Yeah.
And he's like an inhuman.
Yeah.
Human, and there's a human.
He's the most disturbing to fucking look at.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. USB port in his
yeah.
ear. Yeah.
That was creepy. But yeah, so he has his sidekick Love, doing all the dirty work in this movie. And I would just say, since we spoke about Ana de Armas, the actress for Love, I think her name is Sylvia Hooks or something. She's very beautiful. There's something about her. I just look at her in this movie. I'm like,
I don't
she's
find
like
her
gorgeous
at all.
I don't know. It was something I was watching this movie. I'm just like,
what are your top 3 Blade Runner waifus?
Well, there's like only 3 waifus in there. I guess there's 4, but we can get into that. I guess there's 4, but
hell yeah, there's 4 actually.
Well, yeah, when I was watching, I was like, she's like really like drop dead gorgeous in my opinion.
No, Ana de Armas. I like
Ana de Armas also look like beautiful in this movie.
Please, no offense. If I know
this movie's actually just full of beautiful people. Ryan Gosling is also very good to look at.
That's true, but they're robots. So of course they're pretty.
Denny really has a thing for like casting very attractive people.
Denny has a thing for.
He has a thing for casting like. We talked about this in Dune. He casts like very like I think what people think as like very traditionally good looking people. Yeah. He does that a lot, which is interesting. Well, at least in Blade Runner and Dune.
No, I think it goes. I think that fits with his like his style.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
His style is very like. I don't want to speak out of turn, Evan. It kind of reminds me of like Kubrick or something.
Well, he's like very. I can see what you mean just about how fading style because like, everything about his movie are just like very maximalist.
Yeah.
And so it's like, at least as far as Blade Runner and Dune go, his big sci-fis, everything just looks amazing. And like you said, I don't know, just having the like very attractive people, it just kind of works.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, you can't have like this big sweeping like beautiful cinematography and like these perfect, because like even we're watching this like scene where Ryan Gosling's standing in like slave kids, and like it's fucking that cliche little every frame and painting thing. Like everything in the movie looks fucking perfect. That's
shout out to Roger Deakins. He did the cinematography on this.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, there you go, that sad motherfucker. But yeah, everything looks fucking fantastic.
Yeah, honestly, like all the CGI is just like so perfect. And then I was watching an interview about them with Ryan Gosling about it this morning. He was talking about Blade Runner, and they were like, oh, what was it like filming a big science fiction? Like I forgot exactly what the interviewer said. Or I forgot, he's like, oh, what was it like filming this science fiction movie completely on real sets? Or whatever. And he was like, oh, well, that's all I really know. I've never made a movie that was like entirely in front of a green screen.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, yeah. You know,
Chad.
I was like immediately, my first mind, I'm sure both of our minds go to MCU when we hear something like that. And I'm like, well, really, nothing beats like real sets, real locations. Nothing beats it. Like, MCU movies are just ugly. And you see a movie like this, it's just beautiful. Well, so real sets are just perfect.
I think there is like a...
And then all the money, instead of spending all your time CGIing backgrounds and all of that, they actually spend their time using CGI on shit that actually needs CGI. And the CGI looks amazing. So versus the MCU where everything's CGI, so it just all looks like shit.
The CGI budget can actually be like optimized.
Yes.
And like, so for the parts that you do need it, like you can actually afford to have it look great.
Yeah, and I wish Marvel would do that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, but guess what?
No, the green screen thing's working out for them.
That hasn't happened since like 2012.
Yeah, so
thanks Marvel. But yeah, this movie looks great, and I think there's like no matter what, you can fucking tell like with CGI. There's no way. Like, even people that don't know what CGI means, I remember when I learned what that meant, and I would bring it up to my family, and they'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But they'd be like, that looks fake. I'm like, yeah, fake. That's what I mean. Like, it looks fake. Like, even, there's, like, old horror movies, not even old, but, like, 80s horror movies or whatever, where they use, like, puppets.
Yeah.
And, of course, you can tell they're a puppet, but being able to tell... I'd rather be able to tell it's in the same room than be able to tell it's not in the same room. I'd rather be able to tell it's a puppet than be able to tell that it's not there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. The whole CGI everything is just... You almost get into a... Even though not all of it involves humans, clearly, or just human-like people... human-like
characters,
creatures or whatever.
Yeah.
You still, even with all the backgrounds and stuff, you start getting into like an uncanny valley type thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't like that.
Yeah, like
it creeps
all
me
of
out.
Captain Marvel and
like it really feels like dystopian. The fact that we're making these movies, but everything around the actor is CGI.
Yeah.
It doesn't like something about it just really is unsettling to me. I don't like it.
I agree with that. It's kind of like I think did we talk about this on the podcast?
So I guess actually, even though we both. That's what we forgot to talk about, Eternals. I'll bring up Eternals really quick.
Oh,
even though Eternals went dog shit, I think they used Chloe Zhao. She actually used more real locations than they usually do on MCU movies.
Yeah.
So for that, I'll be like, well, I'll give her some credit for that at least.
One,
yeah. But Eternals have been getting shit on, so now I feel like Marvel can learn all the wrong lessons.
They love doing that.
It's just learning the wrong lessons.
Disney loves learning.
They'll be like, cut on directors making decisions. Don't do anything real.
Yeah, it's like we let you film actually like 50% of the movie. We're going back to 30.
Yeah. So they're gonna learn all the wrong lessons of that. And so for that reason, shout out to Sony, shout out to Warner Brothers. They've been letting Denny do his thing.
Oh yeah.
Which is very interesting. Despite Blade Runner flopping, they're still like, hey, you know what? Go ahead and make Dune.
I think they know
which is
that,
very
like,
awesome.
They don't want to go into debt competing with Marvel, and they know that the market that Disney's like, they've cornered that market.
Yeah.
Like, they try something else.
I agree with you.
I appreciate that a lot.
And I think also they're a bit smart. I feel like they're looking at the long game.
Yeah.
Because, 10 years from now, people are still going to be talking about movies like this.
Yeah.
Versus, like, okay, I don't want to quote fucking Zack Snyder, but in this case, looking back, I was like, you're kind of right about the flavor of the week thing.
Yeah.
When he shit on Ant-Man. It's actually kind of true, though.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, well, I would rather make a movie, even if it's not successful in the moment, if it has staying power and people are talking about it 10 years from now, has a cult following, that's much better than just making a shitty fucking Marvel movie that people talk about for 6 months or whatever, or less than that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
You get
like it's successful in the moment, but then no one cares after that.
You get like the hype for the trailers. The movie comes out. They talk about it for like the window before it goes to VOD, and then it's done.
Yeah, and it's just So I shout out to Warner Brothers.
Shout out to Zack Snyder.
Yeah. Shout out to Zack Snyder. You know what? Like,
for that piece of wisdom.
I don't
Shout
like
out to
Zack Snyder.
Zachary.
I had to give Zack some credit, I guess, a little bit. I feel like he
tries.
Yeah, he tries. No, I think he kind of awoke that he helped that push for filmmaker driven blockbusters.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole release of Snyder
There's
Cut
a
thing.
hunger for it.
Yeah, especially with the release of Snyder Cut thing. A lot of people were like, we want to see, directors do their thing. Just let them make a fucking good movie.
Yeah, whether we like the fucking Zack Snyder DC movies, and we don't. Whether we like them or not, you're right. Like, those actually did kind of...
Yeah.
They kind of... I think they made studios see that that's something that people are interested in, and it certainly made Marvel see that, obviously.
Yeah, because they tried to do that with Eternals.
Eternals was...
But like we said, they're going to learn all the wrong lessons, and they hired someone who... She won an Academy Award for Nomadland, but that movie was just dog shit, in my opinion.
Bless her heart.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sure she's a lovely woman, but that movie's just shit. And Eternals was even fucking worse.
Eternals was garbage.
Yeah.
Can we do a 10-second Eternals review?
Do you want to do it now?
Yeah.
Might as well. We talk about it was shit.
It was dog bad. Shit. One star out of 3 stars.
I would give it... out of 10, I would give it a 3 out of 10.
Well, we gave it about the same.
Yeah, I would give it 3 out of 10.
Evan, name your top 16 characters in Eternals.
Oh, there's
the son, the gay son, the fucking husband, the deviant human being.
All that, yeah. Oh, we can talk about that. About bad CGI. That terrible deviant human eternal thing.
You know what's funny about Zack Snyder?
That was awful.
Because Chloe Zhao actually, like, I don't know if you mentioned this outright, but she literally mentioned, like, she name dropped Zack Snyder. She was like, yeah, he inspired me.
Yeah. I think you can tell.
That's
why the movie dog shit.
No, but it's funny.
That's why the movie's bad.
It's funny. I don't disagree with that, but it's funny that there's that influence, and they also have, like, this Steppenwolf doomsday motherfucker.
Yes, yeah.
Like... He inspired you that much that you needed to copy that too?
And his character was completely we talked about this, how the movie would be no different if he was in it or wasn't.
No, he doesn't need to be in it at all.
Yeah, it was really stupid.
In fact, you forget he even exists.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
That is disgusting. There was a picture of Ana de Armas on screen.
No, it wasn't. I'm like, don't slander her like that.
I love this character so much.
Oh yeah, so we can talk about her character if you like.
Oh yeah, fuck Eternals.
So, yeah, there's the character of...
she might be my favorite character.
Really?
I love her so much.
There's Deckard's daughter, who is the memory implanter.
Spoilers.
So there's a little bit of interpretation with her character, I think.
There?
There's some room for interpretation.
Is there?
Yeah, as far as her actions go.
Could there be?
Yeah, so and as far as Kay's just whole background. So, did she implant some of her own memories into Kay?
Yes.
Is that what happened?
Yes. I think so.
Yeah.
Well, how old the fuck old is she? I don't know how she could... How old is Kay?
That's the thing. It's like... Well, because you remember there's the fake boy-girl thing. Well, was that just like a system thing? Or was that actually Kay?
No, I think definitely that was Kay. Because he had the memory.
But he had the memory implanted in him.
Wait, so...
Well, when was it implanted? That's the thing. We don't know. When was the memory implanted in him? Because usually they are given the memories... Yeah.
We don't know how old K is.
Yeah, they're usually given the memories when they're made.
Yeah.
So he might just be he actually just might be a normal replicant who ended up with that memory.
I think... Well, no, because they made a replicant... They made a male replicant of her... Right? And they... Right?
I don't know. It's like... That whole thing is very confusing.
Let's rewind it back.
Okay.
A little bit, Evan. We're going to figure this out right now.
I hope, the audience, I hope you've seen this movie.
Movie
I
theory.
hope you've seen this movie for
theory.
this to make sense.
So how does Deckard find out? So like Evan said earlier, the point of this movie, really like the whole crux of the movie, replicants, the robots in the Blade Runner universe, like the androids, they can now have sex and reproduce.
Well, at least one of them has done it, which is Rachel from the original movie.
We're moving on.
Yeah.
We're keeping it concise. Robots can have sex now in Blade Runner.
Yeah. Have sex and give birth.
Ryan Gosling is tasked with making sure no one finds that out.
Yeah,
with
getting rid of the baby.
Killing the child. So he's doing research on the child.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he find out that there are 2 children? How does he find that out?
He's looking, if when he goes to the orphanage.
Right.
To find the records. I think that was it, right?
I know he goes to like a library thing, right?
Or was that... Yeah, that was it. When he's looking through the records,
right.
He sees there was a boy and a girl with the same DNA code.
So what the fuck was that from?
That's the thing. It's not entirely clear. It's very interesting.
So
for me, I don't know if
what the fuck, what did he ask for to get that card?
What do you mean? Oh, he was looking through he was looking for the date. He was looking for birth
children that were born on that date.
Yes.
So there's a date. He in his memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has the little horsey.
Yeah.
He finds the horsey, and then...
And it had the birth date written on the bottom.
The birth date was always there, or no?
It was. It's written on the bottom of it.
Oh, because...
And he also sees the birth date written on the tree.
Right, and he describes this memory to the his master.
Yeah.
And he mentions an inscription.
No, he tells Joy the memory.
He also tells the madam person.
Does he tell her?
He does. When they're drinking. When she's drinking, I mean. He does.
He did tell her?
Yeah, because she's like, what if I say it's in order? He's like, oh, I don't want to tell you. And she's like, what if I say it's in order? And then he tells her about the horse.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, he does, yes.
He mentioned there's an inscription on the bottom, and then he goes and looks for it from his memory, and he finds it, and then the date is the birthday. He finds the fucking card.
He finds it at the orphanage. That's where he finds the wooden
when he asks for orphans that were born on that date.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he finds 2... Okay.
So for me,
excuse you, Evan, what a fucking jigsaw puzzle this is. My God.
No, that's... The whole background thing is very confusing me. I'm like, was Kay actually involved in, like, the ruse that Deckard, Rachel, and all of them were trying to set up with his child? Or is he really just a random replicant who ended up with that memory in him? And that's the only reason he gets involved in this.
I think personally...
Besides outside of just being the officer on the case.
What I thought happened was... They made... See, because she's the person that makes the memories.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So I feel like that almost...
And remember when she...
Well, hold on.
Okay, I apologize.
Since she's the person that makes the memories for the replicants in the present day...
Yeah.
I feel like that fact indicates that...
He's newer.
Yeah. That he's not related to her. But when I first... Not when I first watched it. The first time I watched it, I was like... That girl's pink. I don't like this movie. This sucks. But this time when I watched it, I thought, well, he was clearly the bait. Like, he was clearly the fake Deckard child, which is why he had the replica DNA and the same memory.
That's the thing that still confuses me. I'm not sure.
But he probably isn't old enough. Unless someone else put that memory in him, but why would they do that?
It's all very left open for interpretation. And the thing is, when she looks... to see his memory or whatever,
she
to know it's real. Yeah, does she know that's her memory?
Yes.
Okay, she must. Right?
That's actually the scene we happen to be watching right now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a great scene.
It also had the meme where he screams, "God damn it!" That's a lot of the meme.
No, but when she starts crying, I think that's because she
knows that was her.
Of course she knows.
Yeah,
yeah. Of course she knows. And I would assume that if it's a memory you could record.
The thing is, like,
recreate,
so why?
You'd have to remember it.
That's the question. Why did she implant him with the memory?
Maybe
because she talks about how it's illegal to show real memories.
Since the instrument, whatever the technology is, you can see you can very easily look at someone's memory.
Yeah, that's creepy.
That's kind of just not really explained, but you know.
Yeah, technology.
There's no point in the movie where you're like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. Where did they make that? Like a fucking idiot. I like movies like that where it's like it's just part of the thing. Like,
I agree.
Don't worry about it. But since that exists, right? It would make sense that whoever had her job before could have used that same technology to put that memory into him so that he would have that memory and be the bait.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know.
So I'm guessing. So I don't think she put it in, but she does recognize that it's her memory.
That's the thing. If we say that Kay was used and part of like the bait, like you said, and part of this whole ruse they try to make to hide her, then yeah, if she wasn't the one who implanted the memory, then yeah, it's more implied that he was part of this ruse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas if she put it, then that's a different question. And it's like,
yeah,
maybe she was trying to find out about using a replicant to try and find out about her own history. I don't know.
No, I think it's definitely like.
I think it just makes more sense to say he was part of this ruse.
I think, yeah.
But at the same time, that's kind of the answer I like a little bit less.
Why?
Because I don't know. It's just I like it. I like the fact that he just kind of finds out. Well, I'm not really that special. I don't know why.
Well, yeah, because I
like that scene is great to me.
I know what you mean, because if he is like the person that was made to protect her, it still makes him a little special.
You know what I mean?
But because it is great when she's like, oh, like, dude, like,
we all wish we were that person. Yeah.
Yeah, man, you wish. We all do. Yeah, no, it's crazy.
I like that scene a lot.
That's great. Yeah, it's fantastic. So it kind of does step on the toes of that a little bit, but I think I don't know why I assumed she put that there in the first place, because why would she react like that too if she had put it there?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
it's something to think about at the very least.
The night guy did that, not her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Something to think about at the very least. And so, also, is it bullshit about her sickness or whatever? Her having to be behind the thing?
Yeah.
It must be, right?
Yeah. I think definitely.
Yeah. But who put her there?
Bubble Boy.
Who
put her there?
Yeah. I can't remember.
The mommy. It would have been, right?
I can't remember exactly. Because she was clearly at an orphanage at one point.
It would have been the rebel person and the mommy put her there.
I guess it was
I think, yeah. But who got her that job? I don't know.
It's interesting that she is actually working with Jared Leto character, and then he just had no idea, this is actually the child.
It's this
bitch. He sells her the memories. I mean, she sells him the memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hide her in plain sight, right?
That's pretty interesting.
That's cool.
I do like that, yeah.
One thing I do like a lot, this has nothing to do with story, just like the design. I love the weird, like, it looks like a bunch of old style, like, camera parts, or like, what's it called? The part of the camera that you, like, twist to zoom in. It's like a bunch of those, or it's like a little puzzle, or like a Japanese little puzzle. The thing she uses, the controller, to like make the memories.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah, I really like that.
All of that, it's
a really unique
like it a lot. Yeah,
thing, and it's like really satisfying. That scene unironically gave me ASMR. That whole scene, I love that whole scene.
I can see that, and awesome. Her voice too. She has a very soothing voice.
Yes.
I wonder where she got her accent from. Because Harrison Ford, no accent clearly, so it's like. Not that, obviously, accent isn't a fucking inherited thing, but I'm just curious. Yeah. Like, was it at the orphanage or what? Where'd she pick that accent up?
She does sound, I think it's deliberately, like, she sounds, like, sheltered, I guess.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah.
I can see why that would give me little shivers up my spine. It's like this sheltered little, beautiful little woman. This perfect little woman making memories in her little cave. I love that. I love her so much.
Yeah, she definitely posed to be, like, very innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I like.
I love that character.
It almost makes her like I don't know if this is a bit extreme, but it almost makes her like a bit Christ-like, given the fact that she's like, this special child. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
and like even the way they talk about her birth scene, or just the fact like
the way they mention the birth.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it was this miracle. Like and where it happened and everything, and all these replicants were like there or whatever. So not all these, but it feels like the birth of Jesus.
They had a little manger and they were waiting for her. Yeah. So Dave Bautista saw her be born, I guess?
Yeah, he was the doctor who delivered the baby.
Oh,
he was the doctor. Yeah.
Isn't there a scene where he's like in a high rise with glasses?
No, he's like in a greenhouse or something.
What?
Because he farms the proteins.
What movie is he in not a greenhouse? What movie is he in like a skyscraper with glasses on?
Isn't that Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Fuck no.
He's in like that building with Mantis.
No, like he's in like a skyscraper, like an office, and he's a human being.
Was it Stuber?
No. He does wear glasses in Stuber, though, doesn't he?
I don't remember. Is that a little gag where you put glasses on?
There's some art, like, not an art movie, but there's some, like, it's not like the MCU. It's like a real movie where he has, like, glasses on.
He had glasses on in this one.
And he's reading a book. But I remember him being in a skyscraper. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
I don't know.
When I watched this on, like, a pay-per-view or something.
Because he had the book at the beginning, too, I think.
I must be...
Yeah, he has the book. Yeah, he wasn't in a skyscraper, though. He's in the greenhouse.
I guess that beautiful Jesus character put a memory in my brain.
Yeah, that's what happened. We can talk about the beginning scene. I think the intro to this movie is great.
What even happens? I don't know.
When he just pulls up to Dave Bautista shit. Kind of introducing his job, but then also sets up a big plot point in the movie.
This movie
it's just a really good intro.
This is such a ripoff of Looper.
We don't have to talk
I almost can't even watch this movie just because I'm like, wow, you really had to bite Ryan Johnson.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
You're such a hack,
For
Denis Villeneuve. Like,
for sure, definitely.
Jesus Christ, throw in the towel, buddy.
But yeah, I like that scene.
Like, literally, Ryan Johnson made a better version of Dune, and then you just had to rip off Last Jedi, and then you rip off Looper.
Jesus.
Rip off Brick next.
Maybe you will.
That's what,
Prisoners. Prisoners is a Brick remake.
That's good. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's the opening is great to me. They're cool. Him and Dave Bautista have a pretty interesting fight, and I just like when he's like, "You've never seen a fucking miracle," or whatever. I'm like, what the hell?
I do think there's some things. There's certainly, you can't say this about the movie in general, but I think there's some things that are a bit on the nose.
Like what? Like, what do you mean by that?
Well,
I can give you an example of that. I kind of agree with you.
Please do.
Because I thought about this. They do this a few times, and I'm like, that was not necessary. This didn't bother me the first time, but the second time I actually thought about this scene in the movie. There's a few times where they call back to that line where you just hear Dave Bautista say, "You've never seen a miracle." It's like, okay, we don't have to hear Dave Bautista's fucking voice, like, just reminding the viewers that this is what he's talking about. I hate when they do that.
I can't remember.
I hate, like, when they... Sometimes it's done well, other times it's done really poorly. When they re-show you a scene from earlier for you to get the point that they're trying to make, I'm like, no, just let us... let us get the point just by doing it like that.
Me.
Like, by making it clear by what's going on with the plot.
Something like 90% of the time is not necessary.
It's like in Joker. You remember in Joker? When you realize that she's fake, and then they re-show...
There's a big, long reveal of, like, him sitting alone on the couch instead of
stuff
being
like that. It's like, it's very unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's not as, like, egregious as that, I think, because that, they literally filmed another scene where he jumped by himself, which it was... This, they just replayed the earlier scene, but it's not... It's like... You don't have to do that. We get the point.
Yeah, I think it's particularly bad in Joker, too, because you see the fucking woman's reaction.
It's definitely a Hollywood blockbuster type shit.
Yeah, it's an executive's like, I don't remember 20 minutes ago, so you're going to have to just put this again.
Yeah.
But in Joker...
But we can criticize it.
In Joker, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Because...
That's like I use like the worst example I could think of.
It's a great example to compare it to, because it's like, this isn't super bad, because there's kind of, especially like you said, like, you kind of need the old Blade Runner, and plus it's a long movie. Yeah. It's pretty dense. Not even just in terms of like whatever themes or whatever, but just like in terms of story, there's a lot to digest.
Yes.
So I can see why you maybe want to throw that back at us.
But they literally like play that Dave Bautista line. They like do it twice. Like is it two? It's either 2 or 3 times in the fucking movie.
But
it's like that's overdoing it.
I remember once it's okay. After I saw it once, I was like, Jesus, like. I remember. I was there. I know.
One of the times they do it, they have that, and then they have another. they like do his line and somebody else's line like right back to back. It's like
it's on really the arm is saying like you're special.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, because that's when he first thinks that he might be the child.
Yeah,
and he thinks about the miracle thing and about what she said. That was unnecessary, completely unnecessary. But like you said, if maybe you passed out for like 10 minutes, you need a little reminder. It works for that reason. And like we said, it's a long movie.
You were too focused on the spaceships and you were just like, oh, what?
Or on Adama's beautiful face.
But like, there's no hard reaction to make you question it. Or like of course you see like, you know, every once in a while Ryan Gosling has like a big grimace on his head, but most of the time he's not like super emoting. Yeah. But like in Joker, he walks into the apartment, she's like, "Get the fuck out! What are you doing? Where the fuck are you?" Like clearly they have never met, and he has no reason to go in her apartment. We don't need to see like every time he was ever imagining them being together.
We should do Joker one day. We should.
That's not bad.
We really should do Joker one day.
Maybe you could do that this week.
If you want to.
We have an opening.
I would be down because I don't like that movie.
I like it probably more than you do.
I think so, because I didn't like it at all.
I like when he tortures the midget. I like when he...
Does he torture a midget?
Kinda.
I thought he was friends with the midget.
He kills... I mean, he kind of tortures him.
I can't remember. I thought the midget was the one he like, oh, like, yeah, you're one of the good ones.
He kills someone in front of the midget.
And then he was thinking like, yeah, he was friendly with him, wasn't he?
He kills the person in front of the midget. He like makes him watch. And then the midget can't reach the lock on the door, so he makes him just stand there. And he's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get you, shorty." I'm the Joker. He tortures him a little bit.
That's it. Yeah, that's.
It's pretty torturous.
That's torturous. Yeah. Fuck you, Joaquin.
Speaking of Joker, let's get back to Jared Leto. No, I don't know.
Oh yeah, another thing I do want to talk about though, in Blade Runner is the score. I fucking love the score in this movie. I don't know if it did anything for you. I know me and you have talked about how
I actually don't.
Me and Andy are more like on the score thing than you are usually.
Yeah, I actually don't notice the score very much. I actually don't like it in this movie.
Really?
I don't really like it.
I really like that like industrial electronic type thing. Like type music, and it works really well for the setting of this movie for obvious reasons.
I watched it with the subtitles. I don't usually do that, but I did it for this movie to make me pay attention.
Yeah. I've actually come around to just using subtitles, like, just on an English movie.
If I was watching,
I've come around to just sometimes having the subtitles on. It's not bad, honestly. It's not bad.
Depending on what it is, like if it's like a cartoon, I don't really need it, or like some bullshit movie. But if it's something I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stay off my phone and pay attention, because I'll look if I don't have the subtitles on, I might look down at my phone or some shit, and I'm just like, you didn't read any of that.
Yeah,
you need to go back and look at that. That's not. What were we talking about? The score.
Yeah.
So I was watching it with the subtitles, and there was this one part. It was the sex scene with the real human woman and Ana de Armas robot, CGI, whatever it's called, AI.
Well, she's a replicant.
Kinda.
The prostitute's a replicant.
Well, she is. They reveal that later. I thought she was human.
I think you get the idea from the beginning that she's a replicant.
Because she's in the replicant horror place.
Yeah.
I didn't even assume those were replicants, which is probably fucked up of me.
No, that's nice of you, Dylan. You're like, yeah, they're all human beings. That's nice.
Well, I was just like, I can't wait for it to be an Apple store where everyone's just fucking against the windows.
That's insane. The fact that they make it look like an Apple store is kind of crazy. Like, really.
It's like an Apple store, but the glass is like saw glass, where it's like kind of like shady, whatever.
Yeah.
Or like what do they call that? Like smoky glass or whatever.
I know, like kind of like a shower or something like that.
Scary. Yeah. Scary. It looks scary.
Yeah.
It's violent.
It is violent.
The relationship between sex and violence is prevalent in Blade Runner 2049. I can't wait to write my video essay on this.
But you were saying though about the score and that scene.
The score, there was just like a subtitle that came up, and it just said like soft. It said like sensual synth music.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I was just like, and then that made me kind of
never mind. I don't want to use the subtitles anymore.
That made me listen to the music, and I was like, this isn't sensual. Like I was like, this doesn't even really fit this scene.
Oh really? I remember it being pretty good because I remember it was like softer the music in that.
I don't
scene.
like it.
I actually do want to say that scene is actually just like one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
It's alright.
Because I don't know, something about it when Ana de Armas Joy is like syncing with the replicant. It just looks really cool. The effects look really fucking cool there.
One thing that I noticed that was really cool.
And the way it's like that slow build up where they're both undressing at the same time. You see both of the actions happening at the same time. And the way he's just like standing there watching. I don't know why. The way this scene is filmed, it's just like fucking great to me.
There's one detail I really liked amazing. Where they're kind of straddling him. And you can see both their pairs of hands like on his neck. And you can clearly see like which one is like not human, but which one is actually present and which one is like pretending to touch him. It's cool. This
is interesting. The way when they're walking up to him and you see the face like kind of morphing between hers, between the two women's faces, it looked cool as fuck.
Yeah, it's a cool looking scene.
Yeah. And it seemed real. I feel like, if this was a real thing, I feel like that's how it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes sense.
But also, there was a point where I was thinking like, just do the face.
Oh really?
Yeah,
like, I don't know. I liked it.
No, I'm not saying for the movie. Like it looks good, like IRL, if you have your AI girlfriend and you want to put her on a robot, just do the face.
What do you mean?
Just do the face. It's tracking the entire hologram to all of her body.
Is there a way for her to just put her face there? Is that possible?
Why wouldn't there be?
I don't know.
Well, there's points in the movie where her whole body is invisible.
Yeah, but you just hear her voice. But can she just make her head visible? I don't know.
Why wouldn't she? She's a fucking
hologram. That's a very philosophical question.
No, it's not. I'm just saying, like, as a man, if I want to masturbate to like Olivia Munn, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't need to see like an in-depth Photoshop of her entire body naked. Just slap her face on a porn star, and I'm good.
That's usually what they do, right?
Yeah. They do that for a reason.
Well, this is Blade Runner 2049, my friend.
Well, I'm saying, like, she's like, hold on, stop moving, I'm rendering onto your... Like, no, just cut that shit out. Just don't do the body.
But there's something interesting at the end of this scene. Because we did talk about how...
They're mad at each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where she's like, yeah, I've been inside of you. There ain't much there. Now it makes me feel bad for being like, oh, yeah, she really is just a hologram, really. I'm like, I don't know. I still do feel bad just saying, like, yeah, there's nothing there. She really is just...
Maybe there's an aspect of sentience that's physical. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It just made me feel bad because, like, I really like her character a lot, and I really like the relationship. So, the fact that maybe the answer the film leads you to is that, no, this is just a fucking program. This is not real. It just makes you kind of sad. That's intentional.
That's what I was saying earlier. Is like I
just feel bad when she's like degrading her, be like, "Yeah, I've been inside you. There ain't much there."
Well, yeah, because she's a bitch. I don't like her.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't belong in the revolution. You go away. But
yeah, don't be mean to fucking Joy. A very nice hologram wife lady.
My beautiful mass-produced GF. I like her.
Yeah.
No, but the that part. I think it is very deliberate because I think it's supposed to just further make you feel bad for replicants.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to, like it's kind of like, how I was saying, like it gives you that contrast when you introduce replicants as an idea, it helps you contrast and compare to human beings. When you introduce like the AI, like the completely computer like hologram AI, it helps you contrast that to a replicant.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty deep.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's pretty deep.
I would agree.
Yeah. But it just serves for me to make it like even more. It makes Kay's life more pitiful. Pretty much.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of like what we were talking about earlier.
Because it's like the world treats him like that AI that he lost.
Yeah.
But that's not what he is. Kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But I do agree with you is like I don't know.
It just feels sad having to be like, yeah.
I just wish it would make me feel a lot less weird if she was played a little differently, but I don't know if I would even want that. I'm just saying like it would make me feel different.
I actually do like how it is though, where it's just like you have to think about it. Like, you can still feel bad, but it's like, oh, should you feel bad? I like it. Yeah, I like that.
Should you feel bad?
Yeah, I like that. There's a big aspect of this movie that we still haven't talked about, though.
The bees?
No, not the bees. I didn't mean to quote Nicolas Cage just now. Not the bees. Harrison Ford. We haven't really talked about him.
No, he's a cunt. We talked about him for a good chunk of this.
Well, we talked about him as a person, but we haven't really talked about him in this movie.
Deckard.
Which, yeah, Deckard. Yeah, Deckard.
Deckard.
I really like how they took the restrained approach as far as like, oh, here's the big character from 30 years ago.
He doesn't say
like, he doesn't have some grand epic entrance where he does something like so fucking badass.
He says, what's the main lady's name? From the last movie, sorry.
Oh, Rachel.
He says, Rachel, we're home.
Yeah, exactly. Well, imagine if Jared I hope you, dear RNS viewers, understand that.
Imagine if Jared Leto walked out. What's her name? I'm sorry, I blanked again. Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel.
He walks out the Rachel replicant and he's like, "Oh, here's your fucking present, boy." And he grabs like Rachel's hands and he's like, "Rachel, we're home."
That would have been really bad.
Disney.
That's your present, boy. That was pretty funny. But
he's just happy about it.
Yeah, they just take a really restrained approach as far as the comeback in this. Which I like.
It's very reserved, and it's also...
It's not super on the nose. Like you said, it's nothing like Rachel, we're home. Yeah. It's nothing...
He's not the chosen one of the whole universe.
Exactly, and I really like that.
Well, I guess he kind of is. He's kind of the god, in a way. But I guess...
Well, yeah, he had an important role, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah. What I'm trying to get at is that he doesn't have this, like... Even his role in the movie still isn't, like... He doesn't appear till the last movie, and to the last movie.
Last act.
Until the last hour.
Yeah.
And even then, he's not in it too much.
No.
Him and Kay have this, like, moment together where
they have a great conversation.
Yeah.
I love it.
They have this moment together, and then Kay rescues him later.
Yeah. And
he does have that really good scene with Jared Leto also.
Yes.
But outside of that, he's not in the entire last hour.
They use him like perfectly.
Yeah.
You know? They use him,
which I like. Yeah.
They thought of like all the cool shit for him to do and they left it at that. They didn't milk him, they didn't, you know.
Like, I feel like it would have been easy for him to be like, oh, here's this fucking amazing character from 30 years ago. And you watch him do, like, some badass shit. Some crazy, like, unrealistic badass shit. But they don't do that. They take a very reserved approach. Which I like a lot.
I just thought of an example of, you know, what did I say earlier? I was like, oh, sometimes it's, like, too overt with certain things.
Oh, yeah, you said
Harrison Ford punches Kay too many times. He should have...
Oh, he just lets him punch him. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, because I definitely get that.
It's like in the theater room or whatever.
I like that scene, and real quick, also, the set is amazing.
Yes.
I love where Harrison Ford, where Deckard lives.
Yeah,
is awesome.
This, just really quick.
Yeah.
The fact that he's able to live here, does that mean he is a replicant? Because they mentioned how this is like fucking all toxic air. Like he's living in like the most toxic fucking area. How is he there and alive?
That makes sense.
That makes me think, like, is he a replicant?
Yeah.
I don't know.
A more important question.
Is the dog
a replicant?
I'm just going to assume the answer is yes.
Probably.
For the dog, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't make sense for him to be human, right? So.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
I don't know. Plus, he's an old piece of shit. How are you gonna live in that?
Because, I don't know, the, like, soldiers who come to get Kay at the end, were they wearing masks here? I can't remember.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we are looking at this scene. Okay, so maybe like he does. Harrison, we were talking about how it's not a crazy epic like return, but his literal first scene is him walking out of the shadows holding the gun. So maybe, but for the most part, it's nothing crazy.
But it's like an old man in a hotel.
Yeah.
It's not like.
And he's literally wearing like pajamas, which I like. It's cool. I like that.
Also, where's he getting his food? He's eating the bees.
Good question. Maybe.
Eating the dog?
Yeah, maybe. The farming or whatever in this movie is interesting.
Yeah, so they don't really dwell on it too much, but what do? They fucking, like, crush maggots into pasta?
I don't know. They have, like... I forgot what they call it. They talk about it at the beginning of the movie.
It's like a protein farm.
Yeah. They have, like, synthetic farming, which is how Jared Leto character, like, first came to, like, prominence from his, like, farming.
I thought you were going to say, that's how all meat should be produced from now on, as a protein farm rather than... farming.
No. Not saying that. But yeah, he does have that little scene. I do enjoy their fight, though. You're talking about how too on the nose, because he punches him in the nose.
The only part I don't like about it is that he punches Kay in the face, I think, over 10 times.
I don't know how many times it went, but you punched him a lot.
And I was like, you get this dude's not fighting back.
Yeah.
Like, Harrison
I can
Ford,
see what you mean. Yeah.
I get it. There's a couple things like that in the movie where I'm like,
But in general, I did like that entire scene.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I like when they have the drink right after.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It's like,
He was just like, yeah, fuck it. Let's just go get a drink.
I think I'll have that drink.
So yeah, I like that a lot. Harrison Ford he was great in the movie.
Oh yeah, what does he say? When Evan came, can I tell a story?
Yeah, you can.
Evan was 2 hours late. Evan was late. God rest his soul.
Jesus Christ.
And Evan came over, and I said, Evan, I'm not gonna say a word to you until I do a toast, until I say something to you. And I poured a glass of whiskey, and then I said, Evan, to strangers.
That was awesome.
And then I drank my little shot, and that was badass as hell.
Just to talk about the Stranger Thing first. So yeah, at first.
The what?
The Stranger Thing.
Jesus Christ.
I
thought you said to talk about Stranger Things for a moment.
Well, I literally did say Stranger Things, but that's not what I meant.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's interesting. That kind of comes back up at the end. Because he's like, yeah, I think it was Decker who's just like, yeah, me and you were just strangers or whatever. Then at the end, before Decker goes in to meet his daughter, he says, like, what am I to you? And Kay doesn't really say anything. Well, in his, Kay's memories are fake to him, obviously, but they feel real to him. And so in his mind, Deckard is kind of his father.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like that part a lot.
That's another thing where I think you didn't need... you could have cut back a little bit, which is strange.
No, I think it was done well there. I think it was done well. Because Deckard just asked, like, yeah, what am I to you? And Kay doesn't say anything.
But
he just said, go meet your daughter. That's all he says.
I think... Because I see what you're saying. I didn't think about that.
And I like that part a lot.
I didn't think about that in the sense of, like, connecting that to this whole strangers thing. Like, who am I to you?
I think that was the point.
It is the point.
For it to come full circle.
I didn't really think about that, but...
It's like, yeah, technically they are strangers, but in Kay's mind, he's like a father to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you could have left it, because I know he says, what am I to you? And then he says, are you all right?
He says, what am I to you afterwards? Before he goes in, then Gosling just says, go meet your daughter. That's all he says that to him,
and
like 3 times.
And then he says, are you all right?
I think it went before that.
No. He says, are you all right before he goes in.
Oh. Well, either way. I don't think
I'm just saying, I think you could just have, are you all right there, personally.
I don't know. I like that. Just for the, like we said, to go with the Stranger Thing.
But
I like that.
Who am I to you kind of feels like, thanks for the thesis. Like.
Yeah, I can see. Okay, yeah, I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
But just for the Stranger Thing, I liked it.
I think Are You Okay kind of makes it like, and then maybe he just, pats him on the back and walks in or something. I feel like that could have went a long way versus, because, yeah, it's kind of, for me, it's a little, pointing it out a little too hard.
I can see what you mean, but I still really like that moment a lot, personally.
I like the moment a lot, but I think you could have cut one of the 2 lines. Probably the who am I to you line.
Yeah.
Because I feel something that you have, like, on a writing board that's like, who is Kay to fucking Deckard? Who is he to him? We don't discover it in the movie. You don't ask him that.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, in the storyboard fucking room, yeah. That's interesting, yeah. And what do you think about Kay? Since we're just talking about the ending now.
Him dying?
Yeah, about Kay's death.
Does he die?
Good question. I think it's just fair to say that Villeneuve was inspired by Drive.
Inspired by Drive.
Yeah, because he cast Gosling as a very similar character.
Spoilers for Drive, am I right?
Have you not seen it?
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It has a very...
He dies in Drive?
I think it's more clear-cut. I said clear-cut.
Clear-cut.
It's more clear-cut in Blade Runner that he probably died. In Drive, it's a little bit more ambiguous.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to spoil Drive for you.
Well,
my fucking bad.
Spoilers to everyone else, too.
Still, it's almost like... It's literally like almost the same exact ending.
Really?
Where, yeah.
He kind of faded on the steps and...
Well, in this, he faded on the steps. In Drive, he got stabbed, and then he's just driving off at the very end.
Oh.
And you don't really know. So I think... It's fair to say I think Villeneuve really liked Drive. Because Gosling, in this and that, they're not the same character, obviously, but they're very similar. They're 2 very similar characters. And a lot of the themes just about, like, loneliness and stuff like that are both prevalent in both of these movies. So I think, yeah, it's fair to say that Villeneuve liked Drive a lot.
I'm glad you said that, because I think that's also kind of what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
With, like, the joy thing.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that she isn't real, like, it also, like, accentuates that.
Yeah, his loneliness.
Even more
if
she's not real.
Yeah. I agree, yeah.
But it's just so... It's so weird how real she is. It's so weird.
I think he kind of realizes that in that moment you're talking about when he's looking up at the ad. He's like, yeah, none of that was real at all. I think that's what he kind of realizes. And I think that's what pushes him in that moment to go save Deckard.
I think
because he wants to finally have a real human moment, a real human connection. His only real human connection.
Saves Deckard, not unlike the antagonist of the first Blade Runner.
I think there's the point. And the same theme plays. The same theme plays during both their.
Does it really?
Their destinies, yeah.
Oh, see, I thought I did something there.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, for myself, I did, but not for anyone else.
Yeah, he's very connected to the character Roy from the original.
I didn't know it was like that. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
until right now.
They both have that moment where they go save Deckard.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I think he realized like, I've never really had any real connection, and I think he wants to save that one thing he has. He even goes against the replicant rebels or whatever, because they tell him, like, you killed Deckard. Remember? They say, just get rid of him. Because I think they assume that he's going to
talk.
Yeah, sell them out. They don't trust him for whatever reason.
What happens to Jared Leto at the end of the movie?
Oh, we don't find out. Yeah, he's still pretty much doing his thing. Yeah,
he's just fine.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense why you say, like, his, like, woman enforcer is more the villain.
Yeah, because she's in most of the movie.
There's no closure with Jared Leto.
Jared Leto's like in 3 scenes.
He's just kind of evil.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if they were trying to set up a sequel with that or not, but it still works just fine, I think. I don't think you need more with him. Yeah. I don't think you need more with him. But he just ain't doing anything.
It does kind of feel incomplete in that way.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. That's why I'm saying, like, maybe they were trying to set up a little bit for a sequel, but we'll never know. It's obviously never gonna fucking happen.
Because the climax just kind of being like, and I'm not saying, Evan, I'm not saying that I need a big CGI finale.
Okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna talk about this a little bit.
But it feels a little clumsy having the final act being like just him drowning her in a car and then pulling out Indiana Jones.
My dear brother Joey.
Wonderful Joey.
Sweet Dylan's coworker.
Sweet Joey.
People invested in the RNS lore know of Joey already.
Oh, you may recall Joe.
Yeah, you may recall Joe. He literally was saying something to me similar today, because, like, I talked to him today. I text messaged him. I was like, after I rewatched the movie, I'm like, dude, 2049 is so fucking good. And he mentioned, like, he likes the movie a lot too, but he said, like, he liked Dune a bit better. And he felt that some parts of 2049 were lackluster. And he mentioned that part. He's like, the final fight in the movie is kind of boring. I don't really agree. I like it a lot. I just like, it's very grounded. But I can see what you mean, where it's like, it doesn't feel like...
I really don't need...
It's similar to Dune, actually, in that way.
I don't need 2 guys with the same powers, like, punching each other through buildings. I don't need that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I want that. I don't want either, like, I don't want a Death Star run. I don't need that either.
It feels that the final battle, if with a henchman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very quick. And that's how the movie ends.
The only difference...
Well, it's not how it ends,
when I said I wanted to mention the action, too, there's an element of it that I felt was kind of backwards. Like, the action in it is, like, in the beginning, there's like 2 shootouts in the movie before the ending. Yeah. And Ryan Gosling's character kind of just caps him immediately, like Duck Hunt. He pops him off. And then here, they exchange a lot of gunfire. Yeah. Comparatively, at the end.
Yeah, well, he shoots down, like, the 2 other ships at first.
Not even just that. I'm talking about just gunfight.
Okay.
Like hand-to-hand, not hand-to-hand.
They do have some hand-to-hand fights, though.
But what I mean is when they're exchanging fire with the handguns.
Yeah.
Like, he empties the entire clip. That never happens in the entire movie. And I feel like it was just kind of to, like, drag it out a little. Make it a little more dramatic.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
And I guess it's 2 replicants. And 2 replicants that know they're fighting. Yeah. So maybe they can't hit each other as well. But it just felt a little clumsy. That whole part felt a little clumsy to me.
I like it a lot, but I can definitely see what you mean. I think the ending of it is fucking brutal. When he chokes her out. The way, like, it's a little almost too... Also, it's almost too realistic to me, to the point where it's a bit disturbing.
I don't know about that.
The way it's because like it's there for like you watch him choke her out for like a minute.
It is there,
and the way you see like the life fade out of her face, it's like, oh shit, that's a little too real.
I couldn't help but think like from the way the water looks so clean.
Yeah.
And, like, and everything, like, I couldn't help but think, like, they just have Harrison Ford getting waterlogged in this giant tub.
That is what's happening.
That's what I couldn't help but think about that. And I also, I don't really like the actress that plays her. I don't really like her.
I thought she was good in it.
She's a bit too cartoony for me.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I was about to mention how she says a certain line. I'm going to say...
Wait, can I guess what it is?
Yeah.
Is it the dog one?
No.
I don't like that
That's
line.
A bit over the top, though. She's like, bad dog.
I don't like that line. No, I don't like that.
That one's not great. I can agree with you. But no, it's when she goes to see the lieutenant or whatever. The mommy, if we referred to her. I don't think we referred to her yet in this episode, but earlier we referred to her as the mommy.
The dead mother.
She's the older lady who actually wants to have sex with Kay. If we see him
like the police captain,
yeah. Anyways, when she goes to kill her, and she's like, no, you're too late. We already got rid of the child. And then she's like, that scene was really brutal too. She's like crushing the glass.
I like that a lot. That was
a really good scene. Yeah, and I was like, Jesus Christ. But anyway, she's like, oh, you think he told you the truth? We never lie. I forgot what she said something like really cartoony.
She says, I'm gonna kill you and say that you were gonna shoot me.
Dylan, for the purpose of this episode, I have to look at this scene really quick.
I just said what she said.
No, it's not that. It's not that, my friend.
What about lying?
It's the way she says it. Okay, this. We're going to watch it right now. I'm gonna cut this out. Because he told you. That. Okay, so yeah.
It's very sing-songy.
Yeah, okay.
Because he told you.
Okay, so yeah, she crushing her hand, like we said, and then, like Dylan just said, she's like, because he told you. I was like, that was so, like, creepy to me. I really liked that a lot. But I can see what you mean with the bad dog thing. That was a little weird. I didn't like that one that much.
The bad dog thing and some of her facial expressions while she's fighting Kay in the car. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
For me. Yeah. And she's like, there's one part where she's like running back into the water.
It literally just played on the screen.
Dog,
yeah, it literally just played.
I don't like that. That felt stupid, I guess.
I thought she was great in it. I like her a lot. But I can definitely see what you mean.
And she's like...
She's kind of over the top.
There's one thing where she's like going back into the water and she's like, I'm the best one. I was like, bitch, what are you fucking talking about?
I think that is because she feels like special because the position that Jared Leto carried. She is an Uncle Tom. Yeah. The position Jared Leto character had talked about, and Kate mentions that with her in the scene when they first meet.
I like the character.
He's like, wow, you must be really special to him.
Yeah.
So I think it's like in her brain, she's like hyped up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, he likes me. I'm the best one.
Yeah,
you get what I
I'm
mean?
His angel. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm his Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
I like the character, but I don't like the actress. I'm sorry.
The way it's played over the top, I can see what you mean. But for me, I like it a lot.
I understand. Yeah. Very civil.
I don't think any of the performances in this movie are bad for the most part.
I don't like her, but I think everything else is good.
I think the dog did a shitty job.
The dog kind of like he phoned it in. He phoned it in a bit.
He did. Look at that scene.
Because I can just tell that they were like, no food for you,
yeah.
no food for you, and they kick him a little bit.
That's fucked up.
And it's like, you know,
he had to do what he had to do.
Are you really even acting?
Yeah, he had to do.
Are you really you fucking dog? No. Shout out to the dog.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I like the fight scene, but like you said, it's not. I can see what you say is a bit anticlimactic. I guess it's very similar to Dune in that way, but I like Dune's final fight more than I do in this.
This might sound a bit controversial.
For Dune, it's a bit better. I mean, it's more understandable because Dune's a part one. We know that this is kind of an incomplete film. But anyways, you were saying?
I almost would have preferred if it was just like. Because it was pretty badass when he takes out the other cars.
Yeah. If it was just that, he just blows up the cars.
Well, no, because like you can't blow up Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wish it was more limited to that.
I can see what you mean.
Like play up that, not play it up more.
Yeah.
But just like what you have, just kind of emphasize that as like this is the moment.
Yeah.
Like, here, not, and then they kind of, I don't know. There's an aspect of it too where I think they do linger on that part too long when they're fighting in the water. I really do. They're just going back and forth too much, and I can appreciate like actually choking her out for a realistic amount of time. I can appreciate that.
The way he comes up out of the water and just grabs her too is really cool to me.
Yeah, because he kind of moves. He shifts position so that he's also choking her and she's also underwater. Yeah, that's cool. I like that part, but I don't know. There's a bit of that part that's too drawn out. You guys, you get it. You get it. You get it. Evan, what other cool stuff is there to talk about in Blade Runner 2049?
I feel like we've talked about like pretty much all the highlights, but I do want to just say, because we talked about it a little bit, just I really like the ending a lot where Kay he doesn't side with anybody. He just makes his own decision to save Deckard. And yeah, that's like we were talking about. That's like the most human thing he could have possibly done. So he didn't follow any orders. He did what his heart told him. And I like that a lot. That's a really good ending.
Pretty much, yeah. He chooses to kind of be loyal to. It's really sad. Like basically the only human connection he's ever had. He chooses to be loyal to that, which is very robotic. Oh. Which is very human.
So, yeah, that was a great way to end the movie.
Oh, yeah. You're not kidding.
Yeah. And I will say, can I talk, because I guess we need to talk about this a little bit. Can I talk about how this episode came to be? Sure. So, I've been wanting to finally go through Villeneuve's movies.
After his cinematography.
Yeah, his cinematography. His filmography.
His filmography, if you will.
Yeah, after,
my God, this bitch has one eye. Holy crap.
After watching Dune, because I was like, oh, Dune was fucking amazing. And I also love 2049. I've been really sleep on Villeneuve's movie because the rest of them are supposed to be really good. So I watched Polytechnique recently. And that's the movie he did about the like school shooting in Quebec or whatever. He made a movie about that. Epic? It was okay. It's one of his earlier works, and it really feels like a student film. If you look at the lens like that... No, the shooters are not the hero.
Who's the hero?
There isn't really a hero in the movie. It's just kind of about the victims.
The shooter's the hero.
Yeah. There's parts of it that focus on the shooter, and then parts of it that focus on the victim. But it feels like
it's not like a documentary.
It's not a documentary, no, because it's all acting.
But it's like kind of like a biography.
Yeah.
Type of.
But he changed the names of all the real people.
Right.
They tell you that at the beginning of the movie. It feels like a student film. If you look at the lens like that, like, yeah, this is early on in this student film, you kind of get it. It's not great or anything, but I watched that because I was on Amazon. I saw it was there. I just watched it I was like, okay, it was late at night and it was short, so I just turned it on.
What would you give it out of 3 stars is my question.
I don't like the 3-star rating, Dylan, but if I had to do it, I would say 2. I liked it.
2 out of 3 stars?
2 out of 3. Yeah, I liked it. And then I watched Sicario finally the other day. I also enjoyed Sicario. It was good.
I never watched Sicario because I thought it was stupid.
Oh.
I thought it was going to be just like one of those like...
The ending of it, me and Andy were talking about earlier, you might have saw, but the ending is fucking amazing.
Is that the one where they go to a country and they pretend they're filming a movie?
No.
That's the Ben Affleck movie.
Yeah, it's Argo.
Argo.
Yeah,
is that what it's called? Yeah. I thought it was... That's why I didn't want to watch it, because I thought it was Argo.
No. Sicario is about like...
Cartel?
Yeah, the cartel. Okay. Yeah. The cartel and the agents fighting the cartel. But yeah, it was pretty good. A bit overrated in my opinion, but I did enjoy it. I'm saving Prisoners for last because I feel like I'm really going to like Prisoners.
I'll probably watch Prisoners pretty soon because Andy said I would like it, and I like when people say I would like it.
Yeah, I like that too. I do. I like it also. But yeah, so I wasn't planning. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to finally rewatch 2049. But then I found out that the new Blade Runner show on Adult Swim is starting this week, so I'm like, oh shit. Let me watch 2049 now before the show starts. And I was like, to Dylan, I was like, we were trying to come up with a topic for this episode. I was like, do you just want to do 2049? Dylan was hesitant at first. Dylan said no.
I was like, no. I was like, what did I say? I was like, can we do...
You did say, can we do Drive?
I said, wait, no. The first one I wanted to do was Drive.
Yeah, you said, can we do Drive? And then, yeah, Dylan was like, you know what, let's just do 2049 because it's irrelevant, at least, right now. Because of the Villeneuve stuff and also the new show's about to start. So yeah, I'm excited for the new show. I don't really know too much about it. I had heard that they were making it a while ago, and then this week I was like, oh shit, it's already premiering. I really want to watch it. So
is that Villeneuve involved?
No, I don't think so. It's like it's not an anime, but it's Japanese made. It's like 3D animated show.
Right.
And yeah, it's gonna be on Crunchyroll and Adult Swim, so I'm very excited for that.
What makes you excited about it?
Just, I feel like it's set in the Blade Runner universe. I feel like it's gonna be cool. That's literally the only draw. Like, the last Blade Runner thing they made was fucking amazing. So if it's anything like that, it'll probably be pretty good.
Usually you don't give something that much credit though to based on
You're right, I don't. But I don't know. I just have a feeling about it. I don't know. Just the fact, like, it's not like an American. It's like, oh, this is like kind of an anime.
They gave it to a very specific studio.
You know what I mean?
Not just like anybody. They gave it to like they probably picked.
And on top of that, it's like a 3D animated one.
Yeah.
That's just very interesting to me. Okay. So I'm like, yeah. I should say I'm very excited for it. Maybe that's overdoing it, but I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. Cool. And I'm excited to watch that.
I'll probably give it a look.
Yeah. It starts. I don't know if it's gonna be on HBO. I think it's only gonna be on Adult Swim and Crunchyroll.
It'll probably. Oh. Yeah. It's probably exclusive to Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
You're right.
So you have to watch it on Adult Swim or watch it on Crunchyroll. You can watch it for free on Crunchyroll. You don't need the paid one.
Oh, really?
It'll just have the ads.
Oh, really? I didn't know Crunchyroll did that.
Yeah. You just have to.
Very cool. Very cool.
Or you can find it on an alternative streaming site, possibly. That about sums up for this RNS, I think. But before we go, I do want to say our cool Dylan fact for today.
Oh crap!
Cool Dylan fact. On his, it's not really a shelf. I guess it's a bit. Yeah, it is a bit of a shelf. Yeah. I was like, it is a shelf. It is a shelf. Dylan has a Lego Arkham Asylum on the shelf. There's your cool Dylan fact for today.
Can I specify a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
It's actually the 2006 to 2008 original Lego Batman wave Arkham Asylum. The first Arkham
That's actually
Asylum
cool.
set.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
It's a thing I really wanted as a kid. And now I'm a big man. I bought it.
You bought it.
So I bought it.
Well, thank you for listening, everybody.
Very cool. Cool Evan fact number 1.
And no, that's not a section.
Evan.
That's not a fact.
Is